This boy has a special appearance since childhood. Since birth his eyes are different on each side. He is smarter than people. He can talk to his mother after only 6 months. At 1 year old he assembled a complex wooden puzzle. When he was 5 years old his mother took him to take an IQ test. He set a new record. His IQ is far ahead of Einstein. The boy's name is Brandon. Everyone calls him a prodigy. But they don't know, there is actually a devil lurking in his body. He should be called Ghost Genius. Brayden became more weird when he grew up. He did not eat spicy before. But now he likes spicy. When parents are not at home, the helper plays hide and seek with him. When she opened her ice, maid sees Brandon still standing at the same place, and looked at her with weird eyes. The maid thought that Brandon had not hid, so she gives him some more time. This time when she opened eyes, she can't see Brandon anymore. The maid began to look for him. There was sound in the basement. The maid opened the door to see. Inside is dark. She turned on the light, but couldn't. The maid walked down the stairs. She stepped on broken glass and fell. Why doesn't the light come on? Because Brandon loosened the light bulb. So where is the piece of glass on the stairs from? Back home Brandon's mother asked. Brandon replied with a bewildered face. I don't know anything. His mother had seen this as just an unintended matter. In the middle of the night Tori is awakened by the bark of a dog. She entered the son's room to check. Tori heard Brandon saying something. Next to the bed has a recorder. Tori then recorded his son's words. Soon after Brandon woke up, Tori asks if he had a nightmare. Brandon said no. I dreamed of a beautiful dream. The next day, twos, greater than at school, Brandon told a classmate that he wanted to pair up. The other friend refused. Brandon stared at his friend for a few seconds, then raised hand to ask for the teacher's permission to go to the toilet. When coming back, his hand holds a wrench. He approached the other boy, then smacked him hard. Brandon's behavior is too strange. Mother had to take him to see a psychiatrist. The doctor put a picture in front of him, asked him what this was. Brandon replied that this is a hand. The hand of a beautiful girl. The psychologist cannot judge. What is the problem with Brandon? The doctor reminded the mother to watch. Anyone in the house has domestic violence, which makes Brandon prone to violence. The mother gave the recording of Brandon's lingo to the doctor. Maybe it will help the doctor come to some conclusion. Back home, Tori quarreled with her husband, Kyle. She doubted her husband beat her son, because when he was a child, Kyle was beaten by his father often. The husband immediately denied that he never hit his child. Tori got a call from the psychiatrist. She ran to the hospital. The director personally welcomed her. The director asked Tori, "Does anyone in the house know a foreign language?" Tori doesn't understand why the director asked that, but still replied, "My family only speak English." The director pulled out the tape recorder. He told Tori, Brandon gossiped in Hungarian. What's more, it's a rare dialect. Very few people can speak this language. The director played the recording. The conversation between Mom and Brandon rang out. I don't have nightmares. I had a beautiful dream. Next, the director took the translation paper and read out loud. Shut up. Damn Mom. Or else I'll kill you. I will sit and watch you die slowly. Tori does not believe her son said that. The director advised her to acknowledge reality. He mentions a concept. Change of life. He had met a patient. That 6-year-old boy remembered everything in his previous life, until the director finished helping unfinished things in the previous life. That soul then escaped from the boy's body. He's suspicious that in the Brandon's body, there is also such a soul. Furthermore, this soul is still very dangerous. Once foreign soul control the body, then the original soul can be swallowed up at any moment. Until then, Brandon will be gone forever. Tori did not believe the director's words. She just said that maybe the boy's soul is defective. Back home, she played a contest to see who wouldn't blink any longer. Son takes her hand. His fingers didn't stop moving on mother's hand. Strange movements. He kept humming a strange song. Tori looked into her son's eyes. She found it a bit strange. It seems that this gaze hides a lot of things. Brandon suddenly pinched his mother's hand. Tori warns her son, "Do not touch my hands like that anymore." She asked the song he hummed, where he learned from, who taught. Brandon replied, "You taught me it." Tori was shocked. She knows she never sang this song before. She began to believe the director's words. Tori ran into the room. She searched information related to reincarnation. The husband approached to comfort. "Our child is sick. In this world, there is nothing called reincarnation." Hearing her husband comforting, Tori calmed down as well. But not long after, her heart almost jumped out of her chest. She went to his son's room to see if he was asleep. She suddenly saw a strange face. Tori stepped closer to her son. The boy's face is still the same. She must be wrong. Tori had tea. Oh, convince herself like that. The next day, Brandon is playing a game. Then his father found out that he lost his dog. He asked his son to find with him. But Brandon didn't move. The father had to turn off the TV. Brandon's gaze on his father suddenly changed. They are driving on the road. Then Brandon suddenly said, "Probably the dog was hit by a car. Now it's dead. Everyone will have to die. So will you." Hearing son's strange saying, the father immediately braked the car. He said indignantly, "I am your father. You mustn't say that to me." Brandon doesn't think so. "Are you going to beat me like the old days when your father beat you?" After the son's words, the father froze. He never mentioned his father. In front of the son. Back home, Kyle asked his wife, "Did you ever tell this story to son?" Tori said no. Kyle was not sure what to do. Then he suddenly discovered something. Behind the family photo, there is a tracking camera attached. He got it. Their son. Always supervised parents. Kyle is going crazy. He ran to the boy's room, interrogating him with indignation. "Why do you do that?" Fortunately, Tori rushed to stop her husband. Kyle left the house. At night, Brandon ran to mother's room to ask to sleep with her. He put his hand on his mother's back. "No matter what I did, Mom will always love me, right?" Tori replied, "I will love you forever. I am your mother." In the middle of the night, a fly humming awoke Tori. She looked around to see if there was any stinking. Underneath the cupboard in the cellar, Tori saw a pool of blood. She wanted to open the cupboard, then discovered it was nailed. Right then, Brandon took a hammer and approached her mother. Brandon handed his mother the hammer in his hand. The mother received in awe. Then, she started to break the cupboard. When the door opened, Tori let out a scream. The missing dog rolled out. Tori realizes the situation is too serious. She couldn't help but believe the director's words. She brought Brandon to see the director. The director hypnotized Brandon. Only by this way will they know who is the foreign soul in the end. Hypnosis began. The evil spirit has finally appeared. The director wanted to know his name. Find a way to make him fall asleep forever. Brandon suddenly lost control. His whole body trembled. His nails kept scratching on sofa. After a loud shout, Brandon lowered his head. When he raised his head, the amazing scene happened. The director was hypnotized by Brandon. By his order, the director took Brandon out and told Tori. He made the wrong conclusion. Brandon is okay. Tori couldn't believe her eyes. She had to take her son home. In the middle of the night, Tori's phone suddenly rang. The director called her. He told Tori to take the computer. He knew who is the soul inside Brandon's body while he was hypnotizing to make the other soul fall asleep. It inscribed on the sofa. This is the clue for them. Tori took out her computer. Enter the person's name according to the director's instructions. The results show a serial killer. Like Brandon, each eye has one color. Within 5 years, this man killed 9 women. He especially likes women's hands. Before killing, he will cut their hands off whatever. Only the last woman escaped. But she also had both hands cut off. She ran out to call the police. Only the police can destroy this killer. The time this killer was killed was when Brandon was born. understood everything. The FA. They're intended to bring Brandon lock up in a hospital. But unexpectedly, on the way Brandon attacked him. He cut off his father's seatbelt, then stabbed scissors into him. At the same time, Tori suddenly found a secret drawer. While packing up clothes for Brandon, she opened the secret drawer and discovered a book. The author of this book is the woman who escaped. She suddenly understood the purpose of that murderer was to kill the escaped woman. Knowing that her husband had an accident, Tori rushed to the hospital. The doctor told her, "Maybe your husband will never wake up again." She rushed to her husband, told him, "I will settle everything. Save our son." Tori drives the car, takes Brandon to the whereabouts of the escaped girl. She intended to kill that woman to complete what the murderer hadn't done, and told him to give back her son. But when she came to that woman, seeing she lost a hand, and heard that her child was coming home from school, Tori couldn't pull the trigger. In the end she put down the gun. She couldn't take other people's lives like that. This woman is also a victim. She didn't do anything wrong. The woman was thinking that her life is preserved. When Brandon appeared with a knife, Brandon looked at the woman with a weird look. She immediately recognized him. The demon had brought endless fear to her. She has not done anything yet. Brandon stabbed the knife into her belly. The woman fell to the ground. Brandon walked ahead and stabbed twice more. Tori ran up to stop, then was accidentally injured. Brandon killed the woman. He dropped the knife and stepped outside. Tori hurriedly chased. She found Brandon. The devil has achieved his goal. She told him to return her son. But Brandon just smiled and said, "Greater than your son's soul was swallowed by me." From the night the boy asked you, "Mom will love me forever, right?" That night was the last conversation between the mother and child. Since then, the demon has completely controlled Brandon's body. He deliberately left his name on the sofa. Let Tori know who he is. Next, let her find out. Secret cabinet in closet. He anticipated that Tori will definitely kill that woman, because her son was in his plan. Just one problem. Tori could not dare to kill. In the end he still had to act. Tori raised the gun. She must destroy the evil soul which has stolen her son. Gun sound. Tori fell. A hunter appeared. He saw the woman holding a gun pointed at the child. The hunter determinedly opened fire to save the child. Brandon ran to the hunter, cried and said, "She was going to kill me." Tori fell to the ground. She couldn't give up. But she could do nothing. After being parentless, Brandon was adopted by a good couple. Brandon looked at the woman's hand and smiled. A new murder is about to begin. In the empty hell, the devil escaped to the human world.